It is 8:27 on July 24th here in mid-Missouri. I'm Mitch. This is Tyrell. And welcome to the Mitch'nandmauck'n podcast. This is episode 2. We are shooting a little early tonight. The current score of the Cardinal game is 8-7 Cards. Tyrell, I know you're not watching it right now, probably for the best. It's, as they like to say, an old American League kind of slugfest there, and we will get into all that here momentarily. Top of the first, let's just get right into it. When last week on this podcast, we talked about, hey, they've got to go 10-3 over this stretch before the All-Star break to kind of feel like true contenders. Well, going into tonight, they're 1-5. An embarrassing series in the desert, and it might have been even worse in Colorado. Ty, I know you were in the desert. What were your thoughts over the weekend?
Disappointed, disgusted, just flat watching baseball. I had we're going to touch on it later in the episode. Some things that I had to talk about with the Arizona Diamondback Stadium, but you could tell they were flat. There was nothing going on. There was no sense of urgency whatsoever. I went Friday and Sunday, unfortunately, to the just whooping that all of those games were. You could, once Michaelis gave up that first home run to Suarez, you visibly saw that dugout just whatever. And then Contreras looked over and just kind of shrugged his shoulders. So you know that team feels it, and it's there. It's palpable that whatever mojo they had working is gone.
Yeah, I spent 20 plus years now coaching high school football, and high school kids are terrible about this, as a lot of athletes are. The body language. One of my really good friends who coaches here in mid Missouri, kind of taught me that, man, big body language guy. You as the leader of your team always have to have great body language. And just looking at the dugout, looking in the bullpen, it was here we go again. Like, what has absolutely happened over the All-Star break where they just came out flat? And it was like they were playing zombie mode the entire stretch, minus one decent outing where they were able to scrape across a win. Since that weekend, Eric Fetty has been designated for assignment, opening up the door for Michael McGreevy, which is probably the right move at this point.
A little too late, and also I want to go with great. You DFA'd him, but you keep Miles Michaelis on this staff. The guy who gave up the franchise record 6 home runs, and you're going to keep him on this staff, but you're going to get rid of Eric Fetty.
Well, I don't think they want to eat the money when it comes down to it.
They've done it before. They traded Dexter Fowler and ate that contract. Why are you so not going to give up on Miles Michaelis? Why are you hung up on him? I have not understood that.
Just ask any of the DeWitts. There's no money. Baseball is not profitable. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
They're still reeling from the COVID year of 20 and 21, if you ask them.
And you knew they were defeated 28-1 in the last 7 games. They have been outscored in the first 3 innings 28-1. Who does that remind you of? The 22-23 Cardinals. Right there. Here we go again. We're defeated. No comeback coming. We're gone. How do you do that?
And it's been all over Twitter in the last couple of days, especially with the way the ball club's been playing. It's just another John Mosaic masterclass on what not to do as a GM. And I was going to post this comment on another Twitter thread, but I thought I'd save it for our show. He should have shut the door and rode off into the sunset with Albert and Yachty in 2022. At that trade deadline that season, he cooked. They needed Jordan Montgomery. Got him. Got 2 left-handed pitchers. I believe it was Jose Quintana. I think Chris Stratton came over. Remember that beautiful week on Cardinal Twitter? We thought we were getting Juan Soto.
Please. You talk about what would have been.
Visions of sugar plums dancing in the head of that lineup of Paul Goldschmidt, who won the MVP that year. Nato, who was hitting out of his mind. Revitalized Pujols. And then you throw Juan Soto in there. Now, Twitter, of course, will tell you that, and even the rumors of the time, Mo didn't want to part with Dylan Carlson. Yeah. I saw the article.
Yeah.
who they ended up DNFAing that were trading off for a spare part later. But when you look at what the Nats got for Soto, Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, there's one other guy in there, but that was their
Yeah,
top
there's
five
one other big
prospects.
name guy in there. Yeah.
It probably would have cost you at the time Gorman or Walker, which hindsight being 2020, that's probably a good deal, and probably Libby. Again, rose cardinal colored glasses here. Like, you can't give up the farm,
I
but
can see
now
Libby or
three
Kent's is what they would have.
right, but now three
Yeah.
years later, you make that deal all day long, knowing
Sold.
what is
Let's
known
go.
now. But yeah, Mo could have emptied the farm at the time, walked out a hero. Well, we don't have a farm system left, but he tried to get Yachty and Albert and Wayno one more ring. That's okay. We're both
That's all we want is
comic
competitive
nerds.
baseball.
Like I said, we're comic nerds. There's that line from The Dark Knight: "You either die a hero, or you live just long enough to see yourself become the villain." And John Mozeliak is getting really close to Bill Bedwell status, Stan Kroenke status, the guys who took the NFL out of the region.
Absolutely perfect and apropos quote for what is going on right now. He has turned himself into the villain through and through, and Cardinal fans are eating him alive because of it.
We talk several times. He is going to be the first person to get a red jacket going into the Cardinals Hall of Fame that's going to be booed. Because the DeWitts are going to hand over that red jacket before the end of this decade. He's going to be booed out of the building on Hall of Fame weekend. They better hope they give it to him the same day they give it to Yachty and Albert, just to try to drown out the boos in between.
Yeah, we got to keep that. We don't want to hear all of it. No, I
Just
can't
patience.
wait till he's gone.
Can't wait till he's gone. Like a Miles Michaelis start, that was a long top of the first. We're going to go ahead and head to the second inning here. We talked about how poor this team is right now, this franchise, and why superstars still matter. Even in the late '90s, you had the McGuire sideshow where the gates were open 2 hours early to watch him hit BP. In 2007 and 8, when they were bad, that was prime Pujols. You were seeing a Hall of Famer, the best right-handed hitter of a generation. I know you just went out to 2 ball games there in the desert because that's your hometown team. But who now are you paying your money to watch on this team? Are you spending, and especially with the way the economy is, I think you said you, your wife, and child dropped $250. And it was only the first inning to go
Yep.
to the game. Family of 4, you're looking at around 350, 400 to who? To see Mason win?
Yeah.
And I like Mason win. I think he's a good ball player. But you're paying $400 to watch Eric Fetty pitch?
No, you're paying $400 to watch Shohei Tani play at Busch Stadium. That's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna pay for any of this people in this organization right now. Even though I'm kind of excited for what's coming, I'm not. I don't want to watch this product anymore. I mean, what is their sense of what's their name brand other than Streaky? Streaky is the only thing that you can call this team because they've been bad since what, the end of May. We knew the June swoon was coming too. So yeah, there's nobody on this lineup up and down. Am I going to have to go see real bad? Like I know I want to watch him.
No, yeah, there's just nothing that screams, I got to see this dude play. And you'll get the occasional, the Angels were in town, you still get to see Mike Trout. When the Dodgers are in town, of course, Otani, things like that. But the day to day on a Tuesday night when they're playing the Pirates and Skeens isn't on the bump, I'm not interested. There's just no one that screams superstar. JJ just hit another home run in Memphis. Is he going to be a superstar? Maybe. Probably not. He's not projected to that. But there's not a single guy right now that you're just like, man, I'm going to take my money because I got to see that guy play. Again, we're older guys, but remember the dudes we saw coming up. Barry Bonds, Jr., even one leg, King Griffey Jr. was still better than anything the Cardinals can throw out on the field right now as far as value for my money. I can tell my kid and some of my grandkids, yeah, I saw Barry Bonds. I saw King Griffey Jr. You're not going to say, hey, guess what? I saw Wilson Contreras play.
So excited. I got to watch Phil Maton pitch or John King. I'm so like, you should have seen the way his breaking ball would get crushed.
Did you ever find out? You sent me the Snapchat. There was a dude in the audience or in the stands at Arizona wearing a John King jersey. Did you ever
I
find
did
out that
not.
story?
I did not find out that story because he left not 10 minutes after I sent that to you. And I was like, oh, and he never came back to his seat. But I've never seen anybody rocking such a obscure jersey.
No, he said he left early and never came back. Are you sure it wasn't John King?
He might have been, yes, yeah. I think he might have just ran to the bar because I think the Diamondbacks had just scored 6 runs, so he was like, "I'm done."
I hear Chip in the other room. Something exciting must have happened. Let's go to the big topic of the week, the trade deadline preview. You know, we were going to take opposite takes on this when we talked last week. You know, we were ready to buy, make that playoff push. Fangraphs, as of today, had them at 60% chance to go to the playoffs. Um, I think we're both under agreement that this team needs to make some moves. What do you think that looks like as we kind of head towards the trade deadline a week from today? And here's the other kicker: Katie Wu reported in the Atlantic it's actually John Mozeliak who's going to be making the calls on Friday and fielding them from other teams, while Chaim Bloom, the GM, president of baseball ops in waiting, is just there to advise.
Then nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna stand pat. We're gonna go get a middle reliever, an aging old guy to get some shore up some innings because Libby's thrown the most innings that he ever has right now. He's already you can see him going down. They've skipped a start for him. He's not starting until Sunday now. I don't think they do anything because I think Mo is going to stand pat and go with, you know what, we're giving Chaim the one way that he needs, and I don't want to like mess up the future for this franchise. But I think they absolutely have to. This team has no number one starter, no bulldog mentality company. There is no Chris Carpenter coming up the to the minors for this. This team needs a face of this rotation and also for this offense, but I don't see that happening offensively wise for a while. Why have we given these offensive guys runway? We're not giving any of the pitchers. Finally, they're bringing up McGreevy. I don't think they do anything. I think they stand pat, unlike they should. I had a whole buy for selling thing mocked up, but then the two guys that I want to trade got hurt, and you know that nobody's going to trade for them now. Even if there is that high potential maybe out there on these guys, I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to Mo is going to do Mo stuff, middle of the road, not go all in on anything.
We're all as fans waiting for him to gaslight us once again with the waiting for the market to develop, which is a John Mozeliak quote that we've all come to know and love. Right there with patience, the top two things. When you look at the
Patience.
roster construction, though, Helsley's a free agent. They're not going to offer him a contract after this year. Maton, I believe, is a free agent. And then you got to do something. The roster's redundant. So I believe Sonny's got a no trade. Nolan's got a no trade, and so does Wilson Contreras. Why would those dudes want to stick around for this mess?
Right. And the other thing is you've backed yourself once again into a corner where you have a gluttonous amount of outfielders and middle infielders. You have to do something to shake up this roster and move some of these guys. You got to stop holding on to your prospects like they are the golden ticket. Walt Jocketty didn't hold on to him, and look how many World Series we went to because of him.
Do you remember the old STL Today Cardinal message boards? That thing burned to the ground the day Derek Barton got traded for Mark Mulder. And I think Barton ended up hitting maybe 15 home runs his entire big league career. We talked about there's going to be a topic sometime on this pod when we kind of get when the Cardinals drop out of the playoff contention. We're talking about prospects, the Ballad of John Gull, if anybody remembers that name.
Yes.
So we are definitely in agreement here that there's got to be some sell, and if it's not the Arch or Fredberg, go ahead and get rid of it. And at what point? Oh, go ahead, T. Go ahead.
Did you even Joe Buck was on ESPN 101 in St. Louis saying about it. If you don't what you're doing, sell this entire you are middling right now, sell it all, everything that's not nailed down, do something. This is an
It's
organization
frustrating.
trading
I
water.
mean, there's no direction. There's no superstars. The attendance is terrible. It has been heat advisory after heat advisory in the Midwest the last week. You're looking at playing Florida on Tuesday, and I doubt they break 15,000 in attendance. It's going to be bad.
It's
There's
been
no way
disgusting
to
to see
put it.
Bush like this.
Yeah, it's sad. You're looking at COVID type seating when you could just walk up day of and find a ticket. Back when we were in college, going to ball games together, things like that, you had to know somebody who knows somebody to get in. Luckily, the young lady you were at the time dating had those Cardinal Club tickets that we could kind of swing into,
We
but
did. I
had
forgot about
scalpers. That's what we
her.
would have to go buy tickets for. Shout out to Lindy. How you doing, girl? I know you're watching. Oh, your wife's gonna be mad. I brought that up.
Yeah, it's all right.
Uh, let's go ahead and move on here to the to the fourth inning. Happier days, and I gave this to you earlier. The best deadline deals of all time. What are your top three best deadline deals the
Okay,
Cardinals have ever
you
made?
during this discussion, I've during some research, I found out the Cardinals really don't do real big trade deadline deals except for the ones that we kind of talk about. So I'm going to throw out one. It's not my top one is probably going to be probably obscure, but I'm going July 31st of 2000 when Will the Thrill Clark
Okay,
is traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, was not always a huge Will Clark fan, but he was my dad's favorite player. So watching him put on the Birds of the Bat uniform just was exhilarating to me to watch my dad like have a dream come true to see his favorite player play for the our team.
love that
You want
one.
to go yours next, and then
Yeah,
we'll just
I'll
go to
start
number
from the
one.
bottom. My number three
Okay.
one. And this was hard at the time, but it ended up being awesome. Ray Langford for Woody Williams. Woody kind of became that bulldog in the staff, kind of taught a young Matt Morris kind of how to handle his business. And Woody was nails down the stretch and kind of anchored that 0-2 team down the stretch. And then in 0-4 was just a dude, especially when Carp got hurt. Loved some Woody Williams.
He was an innings eater. Did really like me some Woody Williams a lot.
He is
And
a
who could
definition of a Dave Duncan project guy. Dunk turned him to an all-star.
hate a guy with name with Woody as his first name? All right. So my second is gonna be the August 6th, with this technically past the trade deadline. Even though back in the day they had those where you could trade those guys, you don't have that anymore.
The
I'm going
non-waiver
the '04
deadline.
trade of Larry Walker.
Ah, love that one. We
Bringing,
talked last week. We
yeah,
were there.
yes.
Watch him strike out on 4 pitches and get a standing ovation.
You bring a Hall of Famer into that lineup that already had, in my opinion, 4 Hall of Famers. Awesome to watch.
And
That
that
was a
goes back
team.
to it. That 0-4 team we talked about, we're both madly in love with, wax poetic about. Hall of Fame manager, Hall of Fame pitching coach. The first baseman's Hall of Famer. The catcher was, at the time,
With the,
Matheny. Yachty didn't come up yet.
yeah,
But they still had Roland, still had Edmonds, who's maybe a borderline guy. Wasn't good enough. You had Larry Walker, who in the 90s was the most dangerous left-handed hitter in baseball. Now, he was a shell of himself at this time, but he's still Larry Walker at the end of the day, and you got to pitch to him. And then when LaRussa put him in the 2 spot ahead of Pujols, they really took off that summer.
it really did. And that was just good lineup construction right there, and knowing what your guys can do and putting somebody like that, it's a good contact hitter right in front of Pujols. It's genius.
Yeah, you're still going to have to feed Larry Walker fastballs because if you walk him, you're going to face Pujols with a guy on.
And
And you want to
that's a
pitch on
doubles
Pujols?
machine at that
Okay,
point.
well, here's Scott Rowland, another Hall of Famer.
Yep.
That might have been Murderer's Row for our generation.
For our generation, it would have been, yeah.
My number 2, the entire 2011 trade deadline. Mo was in charge at the time, but you still had Don Tony in the dugout, who really was probably pulling the strings. They moved a guy they didn't want to move in Colby Rasmus, and Mark Shemsinski, Octavio Dotel, Edwin Jackson. They revamped the entire pitching staff that ended up getting them to a postseason.
When did they bring in Jeff Weaver? For
That
the
would have been
that was so 6. That
6.
was 06. Yeah. There's the only thing he was on TikTok today, and I was like thinking about him today. He's like, "Ooh, I liked you a lot." That was a good pickup in '06.
Said no, and he was DFA'd at the time by the Angels.
That's right.
And
Yep,
they're
yep.
coming up. All right, your last one.
It's the Scott Rowland deal. You bring in a cornerstone franchise player like that, who was a superstar at that time. You knew he was going to be a Hall of Famer just because of his defense, and became a part of the MB3 and just carried us through the mid 2000s. Having him on that team was just that trade. And as I was saying all of these trades, I realized that not one are these Mosaic trades. I went all Jockety trades.
My last one was the franchise changer. 15 years old, heard it on the radio. Mike Shannon, Jack Buck talking about it. It was the Mark McGuire deal. I got on my bike, biked up the streets with my grandma. Hey, we just got Mark McGuire, and the rest is kind of history there. My honorable mention though on this was the Matt Holliday deal. One of the first deals that Mo made that worked out. It's kind of interesting when you're talking about the trade deadline and deals that Mo made, didn't make. Uh, Once he lost Lundhow and Lundhow's book of magic that the Cardinals allegedly hacked into, crashed and burned. Once he lost access to that, and we're kind of going to go off topic here for just a second because I'm a conspiracy theorist through and through. Hit in the comments, I'll tell you some of my favorite ones. But how much did Mo play in Walt's outage in St. Louis? First of all, and then was Jeff Lundhow the brains behind the operation the whole time? And then once he took the GM job in Houston, and there was no more scouting database, Mo was on his own. And what happened?
It crashed and burned, like you said. And look what that the Astros have kind of started to crash a little bit, but have come back up. They're kind of doing the same thing the Cardinals did. Like, hey, we were great for a while, then we're starting to get bad. But Luno got kicked out of there too. But I think they were allowed to keep his ideas, and a lot of his structure stayed. I think he was definitely riding Jockey's coattails, and then, much like Waterboy, he stole the playbook.
Yeah, because the story at the time was Walt didn't want to switch to the new analytics. He was still going to trade all the prospects to get proven major league talent. Lundhow was rising to power because of the analytics, things like that, where the game is gone now. And Mo went to DeWitt and said, I'll work with him. Mo was the assistant GM at the time because the number one candidate was Chris Antoni. And I apologize for probably saying that guy's name wrong. The Cleveland GM at the time. But then Mo whispered sweet nothings into Dollar Bill's ear, and here we are.
And if you really want to go that route, that is such horseshit to say the analytic part, because Dave Duncan was analytical all the time, and there was a work between the front office and the managerial staff and the coaching staff of what we want to do and construct this roster the right way for us to win. And that is baseball guys, analytical guys. You can meld together and see it and work. And I think Jockety did a great job doing that. And he just got undermined by the dude. That's what happens.
Yeah, as somebody who's been in positions of power before, you've got to surround yourself with the right underlings, or they start grabbing for power, and all of a sudden you're the one out of a job. The big thing I got from LaRussa's book, talking about Dave Duncan would handwrite notes. Dave Duncan was notorious for having the manuals on every hitter in the league. This is his last 100 at bats. This is how we're going to pitch him. And now, of course, we do it all on computer. And you and I have this debate. We can save it for another day. Analytics versus the eye test. And so that's kind of where baseball has
saved
gone.
that one.
We got a little off topic there. We don't have a whole lot around the majors today. The first trade kind of broke earlier today. The Mariners kind of going all in here. Trade for slugger Josh Naylor from the D-backs. A couple of prospects going back. Anything you kind of see? Kind of anything going on in the desert as far as what's going on there? I know they're probably looking to sell off a lot of parts. Zach Gallen kind of being the biggest name, or Eduardo
I was
Sanchez,
confused.
excuse me, Suarez.
Yeah, Zach Gallen's the biggest name. Suarez, dude, bro, that dude crushes baseballs. But of course, I mean, if you leave a 92-mile-an-hour fastball over the heart of the plate, any baseball player is going to crush it. But Suarez has been doing legit. I'd hate to see them give up on this team who's just in the World Series 2 years ago. I don't, but I also understand it. That's what the Diamondbacks do a lot is get there, reduce back, get there, reduce back. Use basically that old Florida Marlins model where they'd be really good, build themselves up, and then sell off the assets for a rainier day. Those are the big names that we have out here right now is Gallen, Suarez, and obviously was Naylor getting traded out of here. I was actually kind of surprised to find out that they were going to be sellers because after watching them, they had a lot of heart and they were trying and obviously they stomped the Cardinals out of those 3 games, but it was a great series for them. And I was like, okay, you guys are actually good, probably going to buy now or try to get an addition. But instead, they got swept by the Padres, and now they're changed. I guess when the Padres is Astros, and now you've changed your mind. You're going to become sellers now.
Arizona, of course, again swept the Cards. They got back to 500. That right now, 10 games behind LA, 5.5 in the wild card. Probably time to go ahead and start looking ahead. But I was kind of surprised they're after sweeping St. Louis, they didn't think they were in it, but then over the weekend, of course, getting swept kind of moved it back. Going to the top of the sixth here, previewing the homestand. Philosophical differences. Mike Schilt is back in town. Oh boy, you want to talk about another Mo masterclass? Let it fly, Ty.
Tell
Let
me
it
about
fly.
that one. I'm not looking forward to this at all or anything. I mean, you've got Sonny going tonight. Scores 8-7 already. Might be worse now. You got Michaelis going, Libby, and McGreevy. The only one we're looking for is McGreevy, and then everything else to be determined against the Padres. I'm just there's nothing to look forward in this homestand. What are you're happy in these 7 games if you go 3-4? It means you got 4 games against the Padres. I don't think the way Marlins are playing right now, you're beating the Marlins. They are playing some hot baseball right now. I just don't see it. I think we had this 10-3 thought process in our brain, and I think you're going to be lucky to go 5-8. I think. I'm not looking forward to this homestand at all.
Herrera just went
And
deep, by the way,
Chip
for those
Carey
of you
said it the other
watching.
day
That's why
about
we were distracted.
Skip. Who went deep?
Yeah, Herrera just went deep for those who act like, why are you guys distracted? It's the small things, folks. It's the small things.
Okay, yeah.
You got to take a little excitement.
It's a small thing, yeah. Skip Carey said something the other day that made me mad, and it was against the deep. It was against the Rockies, and he said that the Cardinals needed some home cooking. And I'm like, you just came off of the All-Star break. Why do you need home cooking? What do you need? Oh, the home confines of Busch Stadium is going to help us out. I'm sorry, no, they're not. You should have been ready to play, and it just irked me the wrong way that the St. Louis media sells us that the Cardinals are going to do this, and they are just been crap for the last 2 months.
To go along with your point that Ricky Horton does the same thing on the broadcast all the time. Come on out to the ballpark. You never have a bad time at the ballpark. Bro, we watching the same game. And I'm not a
Yeah, bro,
Ricky
you
Horton
want to
guy.
see?
He's way too apple pie.
Yeah,
But it's,
you see Miles
I
Michaels
long
give
for the
6 runs.
days.
Are you excited about anything? No,
No.
I'm excited to go get another beer.
I long for the days of Mike Shannon. Mike
Yeah,
was always honest. If the Cardinals were playing well, he would tell you about it. If they were playing terrible, he would tell you about it.
and if you remember, one of his last broadcasts that he was talking about was that the DeWitts needed to sell because
Yes.
he was talking some major crap about them.
And now you just toe the company line. That's
Yeah,
kind of what everyone does now, unfortunately. So homestand, kind of leading in 7 games. It's sad that we're hoping for 4 wins when really they need 6.
Yeah.
Change the narrative, but realistically, it's probably going to be 4. Sadly.
The only way the narrative changes is if you trade, and this is who I want to get rid of. You trade Jimmy Crooks, Nolan Gorman, and Lars Newbart for Sandy Alcantara, and you go, hey, I've got you guys an ace. Let's go now. Get off your asses. Let's play some baseball.
I don't know if that trade would even go through on MLB The Show,
I don't think so. Not with those
but
two guys. Are you trading Jay? Are you trading Win? I mean, I'm everybody's on the bus, man, for me, except for Weatherholt.
if you look at who can be three core pieces left after the dust settles, I keep Herrera. I'll figure out where to play him because his position right now is hitter. He's one of the few
Yeah,
guys who they've developed who can actually hit a baseball consistently. I think Burley, even though you can probably find more Burleys, the one that hurts to probably trade would be Donovan. Um,
I
Cheap utility guys who played at an all-star level bring a premium to a contender.
and Cardinals
My
fan
other
love
keep would
a
be
hard
Mason
nosed
Wynn.
guy.
And then my final keep, I'm going to say Gorman again. A second baseman who can hit 40 bombs. Those don't grow on trees.
I'm a Gorman guy. I've loved Gorman since I found him in 19 or 20, whatever year I found out the card. He was in the court organization. Love the guy, but you have to give something to get something. I'd be okay trading Walker even. I don't want to. I think the guy can slug, and I think the Cardinals have ruined him because
It's
if
best
you
for Jordan Walker if he's no longer in St. Louis.
yeah, yes, I agree. It's the same. You ran this guy out, and we've been go back to their trades of trade deadlines. We've been looking for an outfield for how many years now, and we haven't gotten to
Decade.
that either.
A literal
Years,
decade.
yeah. Sorry, I got us on a side tangent there.
That's okay. Let's go to the seventh here. Quick fun topic as we kind of head to the fun stuff. Best ballpark foods. Anything in a
I'm a
helmet.
dog guy.
Anything in a helmet's going to be
Ooh.
great.
Oh, nachos and a helmet. Oh yes, I'm with you. Ice cream.
In the ballpark in St. Louis, you can actually get donut holes inside of a helmet.
Oh yes. You should have seen some of these contraptions and things that they do with a D-bag dog, dude. Like they do charo flavored D-bag dogs. There is spicy with pico de gallo over them, barbecue sauce, pulled pork, eggs. They do some funky stuff with the dog. I'm a give me a beer and a dog type guy with a little bit of mustard. I'm ready to go. I don't need
You know,
much.
St. Louis is of course, got the T-Ravs they're known for. Kaufman over in Kansas City, lots of barbecue spots all over. Local beer. My wife texts in with ice cream in a helmet. And once again, nothing. Everything tastes better out of a helmet.
That's right.
Our
Everything.
final topic here in the eighth. This is a fun one. Let's see how much we can stump Mock here. Random Cardinal closers. Anybody you can come up with that's got 10 or more saves for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I go back to him all the time, and my name he just went blank on me because he was in the mid '90s, had glasses on, and I cannot think of his name right now. Steve Klein would have had 10 saves.
You're
Go him.
thinking of Taos, Missouri's own Tom Hinkie.
Yes, Tommy Hinkie. Yes.
Uh, co- I coach at schools that play Blair Oaks, which is the biggest high school near him. He's always around. Really great guy. You bring a baseball, Tom Hinkie's signing it no matter what. Really cool dude.
Nice.
My random Cardinal closer I was going to go with, also from the mid 90s, Mike Perez.
Oh, Mike Perez back in the day. There's a pull. Do you remember how much we hated Lee Smith? But if you look back at what he did, had a hell of a run for the Cardinals.
40 plus saves a couple times, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's a Hall
47,
of Famer now.
43, and 43.
Yeah. We but always gave up a walk. He was always one of those dudes that you got worried about. Oh, here comes Lee Smith. Big Lee Smith coming in. Here comes the big man, as Mike Shannon would call him.
Let's go Ryan Franklin.
I've talked to Ryan Franklin. Actually, a really cool dude. He was a part of the scouting department when I talked to him for like 3 hours. We would drink a couple beers together. It was really interesting to talk about somebody, and I got super nerdy into the minutia and started since he was in the front office trying to talk about what they were doing and stuff. So it was kind of fun.
And he's a guy we're trying to work out at some point this offseason to get on the pod to talk baseball with. And hopefully this winter we
Yes.
can make that happen. I go back and forth, and I'm going to butcher his name. Who is the guy from Korea?
Oh
Sangwon
man.
Oh?
Oh, yeah. It was
Started, I think, the second game of the regular season. Then after that, became the closer.
And dominated as a closer. And then after he left St.
Off,
Louis to go to Toronto, you didn't hear anything about him.
off the face of the earth after that. The only thing we
Yeah.
really can be remembered about him is the translator Eugene.
And you know who also is a random Cardinal closer? Adam Wainwright.
He did. I think he stayed 4 or 5 ball games there at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the '06 season after Izzy got hurt.
Yep.
Speaking, Izzy did pitch again for the Bananas over the weekend in St. Louis.
Nice.
He, Lance Lynn, and Wayno, I think, all got an out each from the Bananas.
That's what I'm
So
talking
people
about.
still
Right
show up
there.
to Bush. They just don't show up to watch the Cardinals.
No, why would you? I mean, look how doesn't that hockey in the park sell out more than the Cardinals do
They do now.
in the winter park? Yeah,
The Frozen series, or whatever the NHL
the
does
first,
on New
yeah,
Year's Day.
yeah.
Finally, as we kind of next week at this time when we shoot, the trade deadline will have passed. I'm going to give you a couple names real quick, Ty, and you just tell me yes or no if they're still on the team. Brendan Donovan,
Yes.
Sonny Gray,
I don't think he's going to waive his trade clause. So yes, he's going to still be a Cardinal.
Miles Michaelis,
If there's a God in heaven, no. But I don't think. I think he's going to still be on this team. I don't think they're going to eat that money.
and I got 2 more for you. Ryan Helsley,
No, but if you're smart, you hold out to the last possible second and get the best package you can, which I don't know what is given his mediocre performance this year.
and then one more who would probably be the easiest guy to trade and might actually return quite the package. Phil Maton.
Yeah, you're trading Maton. He's only making $2 million this year. That you can, yeah, you're gonna get something for him. So yeah, I would trade him, even though he's been your best reliever all year.
Be really interesting to see what this roster looks like on August 1st. There's got to be some changes. There has to be. As
Has
we
to be, and there better be.
round third, head for home tonight, we're going to do a little extra innings. Tough week if you were a celebrity. Tough week if you were a kid who grew up in the 80s and 90s like us. We talked a little bit about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, the godfather of metal. Today, we were talking, and the news broke that Hulk Hogan passed away. And I got some Jimi Hendrix going right now, a little Vu Chow. We do not own that music. Don't sue us, whoever owns those rights. And I got the Mega Power shirt on, the team of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. And we can talk a lot about Terry Bollea, the man, and his flaws and things like that. And that's not who I want to talk about. I want to take a second to talk about Hulk Hogan, the character. I was a Hulkamaniac as a kid in the 80s. I cried when he lost to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. And I was a little sad most of the morning, and you said, hey, let's just push back the pod. But we had a lot to talk about. Obviously, we're running a little long now. No, I want to entertain, and I want to kind of pay homage here to a guy who gave me so much as a kid. And it's weird, and I told my wife, it's weird to be sad about someone you don't know, you've never met. But it's just one more piece of our childhood that's gone. That's
That
not
just
coming back.
disappears. Yeah.
And you get older, things are taken away from you in life now, as opposed to adding for the most part. And it's just one more, Saturday night's main event thing, WrestleManias, the say your prayers, eat your vitamins. I got a Hulk Hogan mug I got at his beach shop up there, probably drink out of in the morning. And it's another part of the past that we're losing. And probably in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see more and more of our heroes, our icons, kind of pass away.
I was a fan that rooted for Ultimate Warrior in WrestleMania 6.
For sure.
But I loved the Hulkster and was devastated when he left WWF at the time, became WWE to WCW. But when he did that heel turn to go NWO, oh man, you talk about just have a second career and a second like stardom. Well, always be a Hulkamania, Hulkster, ripping the shirt off. Just what he brought wrestling into everybody's home and just made it what it is today. He's an absolute icon. no matter what you think about him.
About the man Terry Bollea, not
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan,
yeah.
the
Not
character.
Hogan, yeah.
And there was that saying, work rate, all the stuff, mic skills, in-ring ability. Ric Flair at the time was probably better at all those things. But because of the WWF machine behind, my grandmother knew who Hulk Hogan was. She didn't know who Ric Flair was, but she knew who Hulk Hogan was. And the world lost one of the biggest, probably pop culture icons. Not just wrestling, but just pop culture icons. And of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable also did a lot of great work with some like Rain Rainbow stuff later. I think that's what he did after
Mm.
in the second wave of that. Passed away this week. We'd be remiss not to mention him as well. Celebrity deaths always come in threes, brother. It's kind of
Yeah, they
crazy.
do. Just it's been crazy. Sharon. It's been a week, man.
Yeah,
It's been a week.
your heroes die. Your baseball team sucks. I mean, come on, man. Need a
What?
bone.
Yep. Give me something here.
Next week on the podcast, we will be reviewing the trade deadline, not just the Cardinals, but the MLB ones. The Dodgers will probably get everyone once again because they get everyone. The Yankees will do something that makes everyone upset. Give me one last pick before we log off. Who's the sneaky team in contention that is going to end up making a big move? You don't have to name a player. Just give me a team that's going to end up making a surprise move for a dude that's going to kind of give their fan base a lot more hope than we have.
Chicago Cubs.
Do you have a prediction on a player or a position that they're going to acquire,
They're gonna
or
get.
you just want to?
They're gonna go for pitching. They're gonna get Cabrera for the Marlins because they need the pitching, and that's the only thing that team lacks is pitching. And with Justin Steele out, I mean, do you get a guy there? Even though I know they don't want to invest in there, but you get a guy, you can go pretty far in the National League.
Mine's going to be the team that St. Louis always gets compared to kind of lately because of the region as well as the payroll. I think the Milwaukee Brewers make the splash. They're a hot club right now. They're going to go get Zach Gallen.
I would hate that. Would hate that. I would hate that. Hate that. Hate that. Hate that.
He's going to go win 7 ball games for them down the stretch
Yep.
and bury St. Louis.
And somehow they're going to be the wild card, and they're going to make it all the way to the NLCS and lose to the Phillies.
That's what the crystal ball's got.
Yep.
We have ran a little long. We thank you for your patience and your time with us. Next week, trade deadline preview once again. Listen to our podcast on Spotify, our YouTube channel. Follow us on TikTok at Mitch'nandmauck'n, as well as Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, Musk. For Tyrell Mock, I'm Mitchell Jenkins. This has been the Mitch'nandmauck'n podcast.
See ya.